You're watching BBTV, the premier news show across all of Beacon Space.
Don't change your channel or look away, our advertisers track biometrics. In this broadcast, you will hear the latest from the people that matter.
And it's coming to you live from our gunship studio over at Tellus, where we have collected everything that you need to know to be a well-informed citizen.
As usual, we have our data squirt from the Children of the Vein, including information on a viral contagion outbreak and their new emperor.
We will also continue to show you our unprecedented access into the Syndicate, revealing their internal inclinations and the moves they are making. Long seen as frontier wildsmen, do they have plans to take over Beacon Space? Keep watching to find out more.
In local news, we will be reporting on the ongoing legal troubles facing the Ivory Towers Country Club, a station bulwark that has come under fire in recent months.
We will also be examining the latest from the Grand Central University on Icaros, where our reporters are observing potential unrest.
And stick around after the broadcast for Financial Power Hour with guest speaker Thaddeus Lozadosh, representative of the Amicable Accord Transit and Trade Truckers Union, as he provides the latest tips on what is hot and what is not in the worlds of stocks and bonds.
As a reminder, nothing that we should say should be construed as legal or financial advice. BPTV endeavors for ourselves, to stay entirely neutral, not bowing to the pressures of money or influence, and only bringing you the unfiltered truth. On that note, though, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Silent Night Cargo Concerns. We invite travelers to the sector of the brilliant world of Tellus. Be it for business or pleasure, Silent Night provides swift and secure transit for visitors of the Center system. Cutting through the red tape, our dedicated teams will make sure your passes and permits are squared away so that you don't have to mess with the hassle of bureaucracy in your travel plans. Our services go beyond simply for your person. As our name implies, we handle a wide range of cargo concerns, be it a porter service that can get your holiday bags straight to your hotel room, to providing storage facilities, or even negotiating bulk goods through local customs. We've got you covered. Through our affiliates in Falufo Kaliki, we offer half-hourly shuttle services from the bountiful TTGI station to the planet's many floating cities. Safe and reliable service is vital to the health of our clients, and that is why the security travelers and their cargo is our top priority in the void space of the Center system. Call now to ask about our Guardian Protection Package. Thank you, as always, to the security concerns. We, of course, use them here at BBTV ourselves.
Absolutely. They assist us in getting what we need to go where it needs to go.
Absolutely, and welcome on in to Unrestricted Lore Fairs Beacon Space. As always, this is our lore stream for the month, and we're going to be taking a look at the contributions from our factions, giving you a recap on what's happening in the world of Beacon Space in both the free agent sessions and sometimes a few other one-shots that take place that influence the world of the micro scale. But on the macro scale, we have some factions to investigate, and we have several wonderful reports from them this turn. Would you introduce yourself, Calbrecht?
I am co-anchor Lupus Calbrecht of BBTV, and yes, you've seen the dice hit the table, you've seen the factions making their moves, but what do they actually mean? What is going on in the universe of Beacon Space? Why is that strike fleet hanging over my home? Well, in this broadcast, you will find out.
Or at least, we hope. Speaking of which, I think we can turn now to the Prime Report from Chaz Gusto Prime, who, after our encounter last time at a less than amiable streaming situation, Calbrecht, you really must remember to book the media suite at these events. He's asked us to deliver the broadcast this month due to some scheduling snafus.
Yes, unfortunate illness included, I believe. But as usual, Chaz Gusto Prime continual winner of Best Reporter in Beacon Space, has a data squad from Heliositis for us.
Absolutely. Let's hear their introduction, and then we'll deliver the sector report from Chaz Gusto Prime.
This report has been made possible by the New Eden Gene Bank. Be a better you. Visit your local branch for a consultation.
Hello, Beacon Space. This is Xavier and Cal here with the latest from around the sector, filling in for Chaz and Gray, who are both sick with the orange flu. Get well soon, you two. In the news this cycle, new diseases, terror on Tellus, and the crowning of an emperor?
We would like to start our program today with a BBTV health advisory for Tellas citizens. An outbreak of a new disease known as the orange flu has hit Tellas this cycle, with health experts suggesting that this emergent illness may be some mutated variant of the scarlet flu. In a recent statement, health officials have warned that this orange flu has been noted to cause delirium among a large segment of symptomatic individuals, and has appeared to cause a spike in bleed-related phenomena among bleed-sensitive subjects. Health officials are hopeful as research from a variety of institutions is currently underway, exploring potential treatments and vaccines. But, in the meantime, be sure to wash your hands regularly and remain vigilant for symptoms of sudden fever, extreme mood swings, hallucinations, psychotic breaks, and otherwise magical phenomena. And as ever, be sure to visit your local vein clinic for a free consultation.
The Tellus Trash Group Initiative, a recycling and salvage division under the TTGI, received an award earlier today for their outstanding work cleaning up Tellus in the wake of the Strovacaro impact, and their continued recycling, salvage, and waste management programs that have contributed to the great cost savings for TTGI and the associated organizations over the past several cycles. A TTGI representative, it's unclear which one, had this to say. The Tellus Trade Group Initiative would like to thank the Tellus Trash Group Initiative for all the incredible work they've done on behalf of the Tellus Terror Group Initiative. Good job. Oh, I guess that's all the award said.
Indeed. Well, for our big story today, terror on Tellas. Earlier this cycle, battles broke out across Tellas between Vane security forces and the terror organization known as the Secularists. During the course of a planned arrest of notorious arms dealer known only to Vane security officials as the Green Machine at the New Star City Grand Hotel, Vane security officers found themselves engaged outside the Grand Hotel from above by heavily armed secularist terrorists, firing military-grade ordnance from several floors of the hotel. After establishing a cordon and conducting a careful reconnaissance during a 24-hour negotiation period, Vane officers on scene had determined that the secularist militants did not possess any living hostages with which to negotiate, and a request for special intervention was made. Their call was answered. The kaiju creature from our last report, known to the Vane records as the Herald of God, or Harry as it's known to locals, emerged from the earth on the outskirts of New Star City, made its way through the evacuated town with a military escort from Bioshell Infantry Division and Fora. But, as Harry made to assault the Grand Hotel, an explosive device was triggered by the secularist extremists within the hotel, destroying 6 city blocks in a blinding blast of superheated energy, injuring Harry and sending the Vane cordon scattering. At that moment, a large force of secularist militants emerged from sewer networks across the town, armed with a plethora of newly supplied military weapons, ambushing the reeling bioshell infantry amidst the chaos. But the Vane bioshells were able to recover rapidly and inflicted casualties on the secularists within the town, scouring through the streets and sewers in a display of terrifying close-quarters urban combat.
Meanwhile, the Vane Strike Fleet Feast for Worms was called in to provide orbital reconnaissance and fire support to the engaged Vane forces. But as they rapidly moved into position, crossing an orbital flight lane, secularist extremists in waiting among civilian orbital traffic on board a super heavy fuel tanker rammed their tanker at full speed into the cluster of Vane bioships, detonating their fuel supply and causing major damage to the unprepared strike fleet. In the mad scramble from Vane military command that followed in the hours after these brazen attacks, Vane intelligence was able to uncover the true location of this Green Machine character. Discovering that they had taken refuge at a secret secularist compound on a remote island in the newly formed Tellus Ocean, having recovered some of the losses inflicted on one of their division's strike teams during a raid against the secularist last cycle, Bioshell Infantry Division Tribute was rapidly mobilized to make an assault on the secularist base, striking the heavily fortified militants from the sky in a sudden midnight shock assault that devastated the surprised paramilitary group. By the end of the operation, the Green Machine was apprehended and interrogated. According to Vane officials, this Green Machine arms dealer was another artificial intelligence person working on behalf of the Amelhart Institute in cooperation with an AI operator killed in combat last cycle by the name of Havoc-48. As Vane Intelligence has discovered, both of these agents work for the Amelhart Program intelligence operation known only as the Program. Has the secularist threat been stopped? Are the Vane and the Institute still at odds? We'll be following these stories closely as they develop.
And now it's a heavy story, but something light to sign off with. An eccentric Krahoon individual by the name of Argon has crowned themselves the Emperor of Tellus. This is a curious development for the burgeoning hub world, as Tellus has never had an emperor, and government officials would argue that it still doesn't. However, Argon would disagree. Quote, I was meditating one day, pondering the limitations of my Naut suit and the enlightened spiritual form gifted to me by the Creator's love, and I was struck by a bolt of holy realization. If Tellus has no emperor, then the seat of emperor is vacant. Thus, I proclaimed myself Emperor of Tellus, and as Emperor, I will do what I must for my empire. End of quote. When asked how they plan to enforce their reign, Argon had this to say, quote, Enforce my reign? I am Emperor. My will is all that is necessary. End of quote. Now, while the official government may not recognize Argon's claim to rule, that hasn't stopped the people from bending the knee to this new local celebrity, as several small businesses have gotten in on the joke, offering free goods and services to what some have come to call the gaseous emperor. For their part, Argon continues to maintain an active live blog documenting their exploits, giving glowing reviews to these businesses in turn, which has become a profitable endeavor to the businesses humoring Emperor Argon. And this concludes our sector report for this cycle. It's been a tense few weeks, and I think I need to disinfect my desk. Stay safe and tune in next time for more award-winning journalism. This has been Xavier and Cal, blipping out.
Thank you to the New Eden, Gene Bake, and BBTV's reporting, along with Chaz Gusto Prime. We do wish you the best of luck and hope you recover swiftly.
But not too swiftly, because the awards are coming up, and if he hasn't submitted anything, that's good for me.
Right, I suppose that is strictly true.
I shouldn't have said that out loud.
Perhaps not on air, no. With that, though, thank you to the Children of the Vane for their wonderful report and submission, and it's quite interesting to see what's happening on the planet of Tellus. I wasn't aware such an exquisite battle had taken place right underneath our, well, I'd say our feet, but the station sometimes is in an orientation where our feet are above our heads relative to the planet of Tellus. It's confusing, just the planet of Tellus below.
I failed interdimensional physics.
Are you sure that's the only course you failed?
I passed my journalism degree, and that's all that matters.
I suppose that's what we look for here at BBTV. On that note, though, some journalism that has so far been incredibly easy, as we've managed to get ourselves on the mailing list for the Ogumala Syndicate's internal reports. We have another report from them this turn. This internal memorandum is entitled to the members and affiliated patrons of the Ogumala Syndicate, of which by now I assume the BBTV is included. It is from the assembled leaders of the Ogumala Syndicate and includes the subject, our place in the sector. As you may be aware, the Ogumala Syndicate has recently accepted membership into the newly formed TTGI Council. For those unaware, this group has become the custodian of the world of Tellus under the initial direction of Ascent and Children of the Vein. As a new member of this group, it is our hope that the Syndicate will be able to work as a part of it to ensure that Tellus's resources and opportunities are thoroughly investigated and used to support the wider sector. In parallel to these new efforts to support the Council, Ogumala's internal organizations continue to look for new opportunities to build bridges with our partners, such as what has already been accomplished under Project Anaziti. This project continues to prove beneficial to our expert organizations, who have used it to great effect to expand product tasting to a greater range of environments. If you would like to contribute to future works, such as those accomplished under Project Anaziti, or have other thoughts on worlds which might be good candidates for such endeavors, please contact your local syndicate representative.
Thank you very much for that report. It's always fascinating to get an idea of what goes on inside the Ogumala Syndicate, the interlocking circles of authority and societal structure, hard to interpret as an outsider. Getting some kind of insight into their internal processes, always interesting to me personally and to our viewers at home, who have voted the reporting on Internal Memorandum Ogumala Syndicate as the best reporting on an internal memorandum in this year.
Considering it is one of the few internal memorandums that has made a recurring segment in our show, it only seems fitting that they would win such an award. Thank you to the Ogumala Syndicate for their contribution. And up next, Calbretch, I heard that we had some Ascent deliveries come through again, except this time rather than a postcard, it seems like the studio received a full crate of flash drives? I'm not even quite sure what this is, but
Yes, we were expecting another postcard, but the rumors are saying that this file, which is embedded on each of the flash drives, has come from exploration into an unknown object in hex value 0400 or 0400. We've heard about it in the past, but we're going to get some more details here.
let's listen into this audio file that seems to have arrived instead of another postcard.
Valkyrie, I think I did it. The power's coming back online.
I can't believe you did it. Incredible. Look at these readings.
I know. This place is huge. Way bigger than we thought.
That's an understatement. The facility appears to be miles deep.
Biogenic storage facility connection rooms family. Pulsar protocol activating. Warning. Warning.
What the hell is that?
Some sort of caretaker program, I would imagine.
Awakening sequence initiating. Rearing rate 10,387 rotar. Warning. Power access detected in the control suite.
Valkyrie, this can't be good. We have to get out of here.
Custodian protocol activating. Patch commencing. Facility runs. Pulsar protocol reactivating.
Interesting.
You say interesting, I say terrifying, and as the representative of all the reactionaries in the audience, I think that there needs to be some kind of action taken.
What kind of action would you be asking for?
Strong and firm and decisive action.
Well, it seems like the protocols engaged seem to make that type of decisive action. Is that what you're going for?
Not exactly, and I will consult in future once I have established which response will garner me the most likes.
That seems appropriate to have got to keep campaigning for that most popular Anchor of the Year award.
Exactly.
Very well. Thank you to whomever exactly that arrived from. We're all very interested to see where it leads.
Yes, keep an eye out for more lore as we continue into our third year here of doing BBTV, and we're still going strong on new and developing information.
Absolutely. Speaking of new and developing information, in the updates to the Wiki this month, we'd like to briefly mention the world of Langan.
It's been the site of a previous BBTV special report. You may remember the journeys of a vaunted space crew into a mysterious ruin. Well, you can find each of the installments that were broadcast on BBTV listed there on the wiki page for Langan.
Very nice indeed.
There are details including potential immortals, a bleed temple, and whispers of a pre-glitch past.
All sounds quite fascinating. Hopefully, we should check up on that world. And of course, if you add more information to the wiki and you feel as if you'd like to be mentioned here on stream, be sure to let us know. We'll be keeping an eye on the new articles that appear every so often as well. Perhaps an honorable mention this month. I'm not actually sure if it's made it onto the wiki, but I've seen this article enough in general chats that I'm going to chat about it anyway. The updates I've seen from the Starlit Court regarding some interactions of their bleed training program has been working its way out through the details, and that's been a fairly interesting document to read.
A very good examination of how Starlit Court try to conceptualize and understand the ephemeral and the misunderstood.
Absolutely. Quite an interesting way, and they've got several interesting effects that they've managed to describe as well.
Fantastic document detailing how they personally interact with the bleed and lenses, and I would encourage all factions to, if not formalize something similar, have it in mind. The various cultural differences. I know that To Horrify also have details on how they interact with the bleed. I know the Larkspur Syndicate has similar information. I would encourage everybody to get involved in this expanding area of lore interest.
Absolutely. In other lore reports, though, we have a compelling report coming in from the planet of Kartakuk under the domain of the Concord of Mutual Disdain. Several of our sources on the ground spotted a strange collection of individuals scouting for the expansion of the Amicable Accord Transit and Trade Truckers Union with an R4 location, one of their rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, and recovery hubs. They seem to be scouting in the Sheplock City.
Yes, this new docking bay within the Eastern Docks is under construction after the Concord Special Crime Task Force, previously highlighted on BBTV, have cleared a cell block from a gang that was illegally occupying the building.
The lead investor into this expansion, the fuel baron Thaddeus J. Lazadosh III himself, indicated that the expansion would lead to, quote, the continued success of Amicable Accord's expansion in the Sheplock City, end quote.
Reports indicate that a local Quettle, Shoba Hendricks, is now operationally in charge of the R4 outpost. Only time will tell if this is a good move for a city that is recovering from recent gang violence.
Rumors persist about the influence of the crew that helped establish this new outpost and find the Quettle aforementioned, the crew of the ACS Punitive Damages. The Commonwealth authorities, for who their ship is registered, continue to deny the registration of this vessel entirely.
However, our own independent reporting into the ACS punitive damages indicated that the vessel has been registered passing through major transit gates, including those of Idarast around the Asta system. And someone somewhere is telling porkies.
We will continue to investigate, so tune in next time to find out who has pants coated with an interstellar accelerant.
On fire?
Thank you, I thought I was doing pretty good too.
Right. Okay, so next up we have another installment of People of Beacon Space.
That's right. In fact, making my own trip to Idarast very recently, I got a chance to interview the 8th Arc-to-be Sinwin. Let's take a listen to the wonderful thoughts she gave on ascending to the throne for the Commonwealth. This week on People of Beacon Space, I'm chatting with 8th Arc-to-be Sinwen. After the shock retirement of 8th Arc Tiber I, Sinwen expects to rise to the position of 8th Arc shortly. Her recent achievements include weathering a challenge to her position in the Assembly after the surprise injury to Representative Fletcher. Her supporters are numerous in the Assembly, and it will be interesting to see how these connections help Sinwen in the years to come. Welcome to People of Beacon Space, Sinwen, and thank you for inviting me to Idarast.
Right tidings to you, Xavier, and thank you for coming to our lovely home.
Anything to travel the stars, bringing news to the sector. Idarast seems different from the last time I visited a few months ago. Has there been a planet-wide change recently?
An astute observation. Many years ago, an accident occurred in Idarast's orbit, causing a huge amount of radioactive waste to contaminate the atmosphere. It was one of the darkest days in the Commonwealth's history. Many people perished, and life as we know it changed. The last few months, however, has seen the completion of Phase 3 of Project Renewal. New rad levels have been reduced to safe levels, and restrictions on access to the planet's surface have been greatly relaxed. We owe our thanks to the achievements and innovations of our scientific community, and the tireless work of the members of Project Renewal, an undertaking that allows us to look forward to a bright future of Idarast and the assembled Commonwealth.
Exciting! Hopefully a return to the surface proper is in Idarast future. Does the Commonwealth plan to bring these innovations to other planets in its domain? I'm sure those living on Menkuraniti or as far out as Kuritas would enjoy the benefits of your state.
Of course, the Commonwealth has always stood for the betterment of our community. Menkuraniti and the Aether Reach have already seen extensive benefits. Our scientists have helped Menkuraniti to improve their local infrastructure, and they no longer suffer from rolling blackouts in First Haven. The colonies of Kuritas, Peleus, and Inverness have seen rapid advancement, with Peleus growing to over 1 million people. Trade flourishes in the new territories, bringing wealth and security to all the citizens of the Commonwealth, and opportunity to the whole of Beacon Space.
Those are some efficient advancements in the Aether Reach. Speaking on these other planets in Commonwealth control, what vision do you have for them? They have representatives in the Assembly, correct? Is the Commonwealth considering adding additional separation between the management of these external planets and Idarast itself?
The Commonwealth's recent expansion has been extremely rapid, and I cannot claim that we have a perfect system. It is correct that our Protectorate and the Aether Reach all have representation in the Assembly, alongside the city-states, guild representatives, and naval representatives. Our Assembly and the Articles of Assembly must remain flexible and adaptable to provide for the needs of the Commonwealth and its citizens. We have seen with the integration of the Belt settlements and the Belter clans that we are able to compromise and adjust our government to allow for different cultures and political systems to cooperate towards the common good. My aim is to ensure that all of the citizens of the Commonwealth are adequately and appropriately represented in the halls of the Assembly.
Responsible. I'm sure all the citizens appreciate having their voice heard. Moving on to Idarast itself, the resignation of your father was a surprise to all of us in the media. What do you see as a new responsibility for yourself in the coming days, weeks, and even months? Do you have any grand vision for the future of the Commonwealth?
My responsibilities remain the same as my father's before me, to lead the Commonwealth to the best of my ability. I always knew I would one day hold the title of 8th Arc, and I have worked all my life to hone the skills I would one day need. I have experienced what it means to be a leader, how to inspire people and encourage the best from them, how to listen and heed advice. I serve by the will of the people, and I will always remember that. My hope is that I can continue my father's work, to shepherd in a new age for the Commonwealth, one of peace, stability, and wealth for all citizens. I hope to do my people and my father proud.
That's wonderful. I'm sure you will. What aspect of your father's work do you expect to focus on in the next year?
For a long time, my father's singular focus was project renewal. I hope to fully capitalize on the opportunity the project's success provides. Soon, building projects on the surface once impossible will be completed, and our industrial base can expand and finally put to use the newly found resources of the Aether Reach and the Asta Belts. Idarast's current capacity as a trade hub will not only bring more wealth to the Commonwealth, but allow us to preside over a melting pot of cultures and ideas. Under my leadership, I hope to continue the assembled Commonwealth's championing of the principles of the common good.
Expansion in upper orbit for various docking bays has been quite profitable recently. That said, a large number of expansions are sponsored by Lime advertisements. This is even more true while on planet. Can you explain their importance?
Limes have been popular at Idarast for many decades. There are several myths of why. A merchant ordering too many limes, it being the only fruit to withstand a serious blight one year, or perhaps the strangest, that the atmosphere of Idarast influenced the evolution of Adari taste buds. The truth is not clear, even to those of us who live here. Instead, it has become a cultural affectation that has stuck. You can bond with other Adari off-world by sharing a lime-based drink, or you can reminisce of home while snacking on some chili and lime trilobites. People of the Commonwealth commonly leave our territory and venture to far-flung worlds, and this affection for limes provides a strong sense of community when away from home and meeting with other Adari. Plus, they really are delicious.
Delicious indeed. I've had one too many citrus drinks in my short stay here. Now for a chance to flip the script. Much like every other guest, do you have any questions for me?
Well, as you may know from your research, my journeys outside of Commonwealth space have been brief, limited to formal engagements and naval patrols. I would imagine that an intrepid reporter such as yourself has seen many wonderful and exotic sights. What is one that will live with you forever?
The ice planet of Gome definitely has the most breathtaking views I've seen. Certainly one of the best vacations. That said, the revitalization of Tellus continues to inspire me each and every day. Much like your planet of Idarast, becoming a better place for all, Tellus has been much improved in the recent years. Any last thoughts for the viewers out there?
I would like to address all the people of Beacon Space and say that the Commonwealth is open for business. Our traders are some of the finest. Our space is secure and free to travel. I would like to extend my personal invitation to those willing to build a life here and in the colonies of the Aether Reach. Your future could be with us. It takes but the spirit of adventure and the courage to grasp it. To my fellow citizens of the assembled Commonwealth, I pledge my undying loyalty to each and every one of you. I will endeavor with all my heart to rise to this occasion and take a firm handle on my duties as soon as possible. I shall, alongside my allies in the Assembly, ensure that I have the ability to lead this Commonwealth of ours as intended.
Aetharch, or should I say Aetharch-to-be, Senwin, thanks for joining us today. This has been People of Beacon Space, and I've been Xavier Stortis. It's been a pleasure to have you here, and hopefully, next time, you will get to hear from another one of these interesting individuals from around to the sector. Back to you in the studio, Xavier. Thank you, Xavier, on the planet of Idarast only a few moons ago. It was wonderful to get a chance to interview Senwen, and the tour around the numerous cities on Idarast was quite nice. I especially appreciate being granted a stay in one of the guest suites of the Verdant Palace.
What fantastic reporting. I've yet to see such a truthful and open interview with Senwen. Really fantastic work.
Yes, she was very willing to be honest and forthcoming with all of my questions. It was quite a surprise.
I did have one question. Considering the strange optical effect that some have noticed, did she seem to be tan or pale to you?
Unfortunately, the answer to that question is off the record.
Right, okay, I shall have to continue my investigations privately.
That seems most appropriate.
And last up, we've got some free agents news. As usual, there's multiple overarching stories that are currently being pursued across various sessions. Veteran agent Whittle Marrow Yottle has made the bold declaration that when it comes to the underworld of Cardacook, she says what goes. You're going to have to wait and see what Penumbra Network established handler Greek Fire has to say on the matter.
On TTGI Station, the Ivory Tower Country Club continues to be a point of contention, with powerful individuals vying for control over the lucrative business location. Data Rice has been beset with legal challenge after legal challenge in her attempted takeover of the club, but the current administrator, V, has been contending with issues of their own, as a team of questionably moral agents tracked down and subverted some of the ancient AI's processing centers.
On the world of Planet Z, or Planet Z, better known as Valkai to its out-of-contact locals, the poisonous atmosphere continues to deteriorate, and their intercontinental wars intensify as the blame gets passed around. The safe house that's been established by our free agents has grown into a scientific watchpost proper, and clandestine teams integrate with the locals and perform research on their fascinating theocratic structure. Who is keeping Planet Z in the dark? What is the future of the planet? And why did the free agents find an off-world mech in a bank vault? Questions to be answered in coming sessions.
If you'd like to participate in Free Agents, it is a Cypher System West Marches style RPG run on our own Discord server. Anyone on the server is welcome to play, and we'll get you set up with a character and access to the Free Agents category proper. If you're on the server, you should be able to see the job postings with some sometimes cryptic instructions for our agents and the missions they'll be going on. I believe actually recently there were some dots and dashes heard in the channel.
Absolutely. Sometimes it takes a little bit of code cracking to work out what the network is percolating around.
Of course, there are several open storylines, so be sure to keep an eye out on which jobs are coming up next for the ones you want to join. Any sneak peeks on when you think the next sessions will be taking place, Calbretch?
Keep an eye out for an upcoming scheduling post, but there should be games next Tuesday and next weekend. Exact day for the weekend to be determined.
Absolutely, sounds wonderful. We'll be keeping an eye out on those to be able to join. I would like to say, with next weekend being an option, next weekend is the faction turn, February 11th. At about the same time we started today, I'll be going over our monthly faction turn for turn 28. We'll get to see the actions these factions have taken, and our continue to explore the new interactions the Tellus Council has with the factions at large.
Yes, keep an eye out to see your dice hit the table and what will happen in the next month of Beacon Space.
With that, though, I believe that's all the news we have for this month. Anything you think we've missed, Calbretch?
That's it from me. I have been Lupus Calbretch, your BBTV anchor and second favourite after Chaz Gusto Prime.
I've been Xavier Stordes. Unfortunately, I'm not eligible for the rankings after winning it far too many years in a row. With that said, we hope you'll join us next week for our faction turn, and in maybe about a month's time for another one of these fantastic lore streams. It's been wonderful having you here today, and of course, if you're looking to participate, just join us in our Discord. We'll be signing off, and I'll leave you with some appropriately themed music for the next few minutes. Thanks for listening in to today's show. I've been Xavier.
Thank you for watching.